Glad you could join us on this edition of Niger Delta Today. Many thanks. My name is Xavier Robert. This is where we talk about the region's realities and ensure that we bring you up to speed with topical issues that affect the Niger Delta region. Today, we're looking at a topic that hits every home, every market, and every table. How food security in the Niger Delta can be more than just a policy promise, but a practical reality. So stay with us as we unpack the facts, the failures, and the forward steps that must be taken by all stakeholders and governments of the region. We'll also give attention to a conversation that gets right to the heart of infrastructure, impact, and accountability, talking about the NDDC and what its interventions really mean for Delta State currently. There are a couple of things to consider: roads, rural water, from abandoned contracts, and the renewed promises beyond ribbon cutting. Is the current NDDC really working, and can that effort be seen translated to physical things that can touch in the Delta State and, of course, Niger Delta region as a whole? Well, my co-host Sifan Ode is here. Sifan, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Xavier. It's a beautiful Tuesday.
Perfect Tuesday indeed.
All right, let's get this going.
Absolutely.
As usual, we'll start with our story of interest. From Delta State, the police in Delta State have arrested a 29-year-old woman, Merit Ele, and two male accomplices of faking her kidnapping in Asaba. The arrest followed a report on July 21st, 2025, alleging that Ele had been abducted by armed men in the Banzak area. Acting on the directive of the Commissioner of Police, a special anti-kidnapping squad launched an intelligence-driven operation that led to the arrest of the two men, Alfred Elisha and Ugochukwu Adim. Investigations revealed that the kidnapping was staged by Ele to obtain ransom money. She later confessed to orchestrating the act to repay a 3.6 million naira loan from her brother, which she had used for her wedding expenses. A ransom of 3 million naira was collected, from which 500,000 naira was shared with her accomplices, while she kept 2.5 million naira. All three have been taken into custody as investigations continue. Xavier, it's a matter of is it according to your clothes?
Indeed. And at first value, when you see the story, it almost sounds comic. But then you reflect on the many social pressures that persons of this nature would have to go through, who allow themselves influenced maybe by family, maybe peer pressure, wanting to do what others are doing, even when you know that this is going to be financially stretching for you, and you do not have the financial muscle to be able to, have the kind of wedding that you want. But I feel the emphasis cannot be placed enough on the fact that you simply just have to do what you can to avoid incidences of this nature. Now we're talking about a wedding that cannot enjoy why it even started the union, because you now have to deal with a jail term for faking your kidnap.
But then if you look at it, it looks like the person already had a criminal mindset, because apart from the fact that the person is greedy, and now you're going to the extent of orchestrating your kidnapping. It's something else, just to ensure that you get more money. Can't you get it from another means without going to crime and other activities, vices, to ensure that you get what you need to pay up? It's just like people are just greedy. We need to cut our coat according to our clothes.
It's a sad development that we'll be having to deal with a story of this nature. Of course, it is good to know that the security agencies were on top of this one and were able to swiftly, apprehend the persons that are involved. And it's also a clarion call to persons who may have thoughts of this nature to know that, because it's actually hideous to consider that someone could actually sit back and conceive something this,
just to get money from your relatives. Not even an outsider. It's
playing on their emotions. Yeah. Because definitely they're going to run around, and you do not even consider the emotional toll this is going to take on the persons that, for instance, whoever this is, you had parents, for instance. You just imagine the effect this is going to have on the mother of the person who staged this kidnap.
I have been there. Don't forget I have been there. So let's not go down that
So
road, please.
it's a sad one.
It's a sad one.
It is actually being discouraged, and persons must always do what they can within the ambits of what they can provide, instead of trying to overstretch, which is of course going to lead to inimical consequences that nobody is going to be proud of. Let's bring you Niger Delta updates for today. First, the Niger Delta update today. The Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly is taking steps to ensure peaceful and structured handover of executive power between democratically elected governors. The House made this known in a public hearing held on a proposed bill aimed at providing a legal framework for smooth transitions in government. Chairman of the House Committee on Intergovernmental Affairs, Honorable Ememodom, emphasized the importance of the legislation in preventing power abuse, while the lead sponsor of the bill, Honorable Moses Essien, explained that the law would promote political stability and reinforce public trust in democracy. Special advisors to the governor on political and legislative matters, Barrister Kufrau Dotson and Right Honorable Emmanuel Ekpenyong, also voiced support, noting that the bill would help institutionalize structured governance in the state, amongst other stakeholders who gave their insights.
This bill before us, therefore, is primarily about democratic transition and consolidation, which prevents power vacuum, instability, and also build public confidence in the democratic process.
One very important provision of the bill is Part 2, Section 11, which mandates the governor-elect on continuity of projects.
This bill, when passed by God's grace, will prevent abuse of power. The law will encourage the abuse of power by the outgoing governors who may want to scuttle the transition process. With a clear establishment of guidelines and procedure for transfer of power, our democracy will be fortified against manipulation through this law when passed.
The bill, if you look at it, that is being presented here, has set out the modus operandi for the transition process, starting from the constitution of the committee to the end, which is the handing over note. It has laid the thing in sequence in an orderly manner, which we know when you follow suit, it will help for that transition, irrespective of, I earlier said, of the individual differences.
And in Bayelsa State, the state governor Doyodiri has attributed Nigeria's educational challenges to inadequate funding. Speaking at the 50th convocation ceremony of the University of Port Harcourt, the governor emphasized the need for consistent investment in the sector to drive national development.
There is need to rejig the system as to meet global best practices. And I am particularly pleased with the launching of the National Digital Learning Policy of 2023. This will embed information communication technology, we often shorten as the ICT. In this 21st century that we live in today, digital technologies have continued to reshape education. These innovations have expanded educational opportunities, which underscore the enduring commitment to align teaching methods with the demands and capabilities of each era.
Many thanks for staying tuned. Now, Edo State Governor Mondo Pebble has expressed confidence that the All Progressives Congress APC will win the upcoming by-elections, following a wave of defections from the People's Democratic Party (PDP). Now, speaking in Okada, he highlighted his administration's ongoing development projects and commitment to the people, contrasting it with previous governments that he said only acted during elections. Prominent defectors, including Honorable Andrew Uzamere and Honorable Peter Kato, joined the APC and pledged their support. The governor introduced the APC candidate for the August 16 by-election and received praise from party leaders, including Deputy Governor Dennis Idahosa and State APC Chairman Jared Tenabe.
Meanwhile, the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, RSEC, has announced a shift in the date for the local government elections, now scheduled to hold on Saturday, August 30, 2025. The chairman of RSEC, Michael Ode, made the announcement during a stakeholders meeting for the official unveiling of the revised timetable for the election. In his address, Ode explained that the decision to postpone the election was informed by the prevailing circumstances in the state, citing constitutional provisions that empower the commission to reschedule elections in situations of crisis or potential unrest. The RSEC chairman further assured the public that the commission is fully prepared to deliver a free, fair, and transparent electoral process, emphasizing that the commission would strictly adhere to all electoral guidelines and that voters would be able to cast their vote without fear or intimidation. Well, that's it on Niger Delta Update. Don't go away.
Thanks for staying tuned. The Niger Delta remains one of the richest regions in the natural resources, but the reality is that a growing number of communities struggle with basic food access. Some components to consider would include flooding, land degradation, insecurity, and even policy inconsistencies. There are also barriers to sustainable agriculture, which are layered and complex. But this conversation isn't just about what's broken. It's about what can be rebuilt, what can be fixed. We'll examine the roles of local farmers, the challenges of climate-smart practices, and the impact of state-level agricultural programs, including the often overlooked support gaps in processing and market access. There's also genetically modified organisms, GMO, and its roles in accomplishing food security. Is that the next big thing in the region and Nigeria at large? We'll be looking at all of this. So joining us virtually is our guest for today, himself, the National President, Cashew Farmers, Processors and Marketing Cooperative, Yunusa Gabriel Enemali, joins us virtually. You're welcome on the program. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Joseph.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, viewers, if you can hear me. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear, Mr. Yunusa. Thank you for joining us. Well, my first question would have to address the issue of food security, not just in the Niger Delta region now, but nationwide. We know that for the longest time now, we've been talking about how to ensure sustainability and how to ensure that we have what to eat. For a nation that is very rich in resources, it becomes a sad tale that we still complain about insufficiency. The issue of insecurity comes into play. The issue of the seasons not being favorable enough, talking about floods and all of that. Bring us up to speed with an understanding of what food security truly means for a nation like Nigeria and why it is as if we are not still being able to get it right at this time as a nation.
Thank you very much for the question. Why have we not gotten it right? It's simple. Lack of deliberate, I say it again, deliberate attempt to change the narratives. Nigeria is signatory to Sustainable Development Goal, SDG, which talks about the 17th goal. And if we can achieve it, it means that hunger, poverty will have, of course, find her way. But how much of this sustainable development goals have we achieved? The answer, of course, is left for you and I, to determine. Having said that, Nigeria is rich. That is no longer news. Nigeria is blessed. It's no longer news. But how can we deliberately change the narratives? Now, because we don't have the right organization, the right people in the right office to do the right thing, we have all of this problem. Number two, we lack law and order in our society. We lack law and order. And any society that lacks law and order, it's going to be difficult for you to make progress. Number three, the advent of oil is like a curse instead of blessing to us. We have deliberately abandoned agriculture for oil. Let me tell you, even those who are exploring the oil, they need to eat food. And who produces the food? The people at the rural community. And because we are not taking care of the people at the rural community, hunger will always continue. Don't forget, we don't even know our population. So it's unfortunate that we lack the right people to do the right thing for the right results to come out. I am a farmer. I just got back from the village. I know what we go through. Lack of infrastructure, lack of insecurity, lack of health center, lack of road, lack of warehousing, lack everything, lack. Yet, the people at the rural communities have been supporting, contributing to the national grid, to be supporting people, because all of your food that you eat, even in your station there, is from the rural community. What are we doing back to the rural community? They have invested their resources. At the end of the day, they go back home. Because they have no any other option. All of them are going to produce little and little and little to sustain them, and the little they sell. So the problem is simple: lack of capacity, lack of persons with capacity that can fix this abandoned sector called agriculture.
All right, Mr. Yunusa, can you please expatiate on the area of law and order that affects food security, as you earlier mentioned? On the area of law and order, how does it affect food security?
Every year we hear that budgets are given out for security operatives to go and flush out bandits or bad guys. Billions of dollars, that is what we hear. How many times have anybody given account of the money they have spent? None. They tell us that they're going to bring fertilizers. Trillions of naira is being spent. How many people have been called upon to account for it? And if they have not accounted, how many people have been arrested and sent to the court and prison? None. So this is law and order, because once you get one or two persons, make them scapegoat, everybody will sit up, because they know that if I don't do the right thing, the law will be coming after me. We have EFCC, we have ICPC, and so on and so forth. They tell you that they brought tractors. Where are the tractors? Are they at the rural communities? Right? We hear all of this. They said they give farmers money. Who are these farmers? Now, the person who announced this money, can we call him to come and account for this money that he gave out? Who did he give? The person whom you gave, who did you give? Can we have their list? So if he cannot give account of this, what happens? Should we leave him? If you leave him, another person will do worse than that. That is what I mean by law and order. Somebody, they will tell you that there's money for rural road rehabilitation. At the end of the day, we will not see it. So this is what I meant by law and order. Until our law is put into effective, we will continue to speak effective English till thy kingdom come. So nobody is afraid of the law again.
All right, Mr. Yunusa Enemali. Well, it is often said that oil wealth came at a cost to agriculture. You know, in the boom of oil in the Niger Delta region, farmland were lost. A lot of persons shifted interests from agriculture, and more emphases were laid on oil exploration and the big money that came with it, especially since it was, quick, and there were no delays with laying hands on this money. So a lot of interests were diverted to the oil sector. You mentioned that earlier in your analysis. But then the government of the day has deliberately laid emphasis on agriculture and efforts that it is making towards ensuring that people return to the farm. Even in different states of the Niger Delta region, you hear more of the state governors talking about their efforts towards ensuring that citizens embrace agriculture even much more. at the state level and at the national level.
Right.
What do you think these commitments are to the goal of ensuring that we are more focused on agriculture and ensuring that there's food sufficiency? Do you appreciate the efforts that the current government is making so far towards agriculture?
Well, see, we have been hearing all of this. First of all, while we were exploring the oil, have we taken care of the environment? SDG goal number 13 talks about climate change. SDG goal number 13 talks about mitigation. What have we done? Because I was in Bonny Island, and by the time I left the place, my trouser was bad because of spillages. I was in Ogoni, Andoni, Degema, Abonema. All these areas are not good anymore. What have we done to that? Don't forget, they are riverine people, and the agriculture is fishing. The fishes in the rivers are dead, and they can no longer. What have we done? You see, this is the same thing I'm talking about, law and order. For you to destroy the environment, you should be punished. But have we done anything about that? No. We have been hearing of cleaning of the environment. Has it been done? No. So the truth of the matter is that government will always come and tell you what they want to tell you, and then they will go. Maybe they can just get small place and do it. We are actually tired of all of this rhetorics. What we want now is action. At my age, I'm tired. I cannot continue like this. By the virtue of my position, I travel a lot. The people at the rural community are helpless because they are the one who farms. If you don't support them, how can they farm? They tell you that today, cutlass in the market is about 18,000 good one. File that is about 3,150 before. It is now about 6,000 file, just common file. Yet we cannot produce any inputs. So see, the truth of the matter is that, look, we should not, we should drop all of these lies. Let's face it really. Because you cannot tell us that you want to do this, at the end of the day, you tell the whole world and you do the opposite and nothing happens. This is wrong, it's an aberration, and we cannot make progress. So we cannot have vast land, no agriculture. I have a friend in the US, pipe wrench fell into the ocean. They had to stop work to make sure that they get the divers into it and bring it out, or else they'll be sued. This was in California. But our own, all manners of rubbish is in our waters, killing everything. So because their law is enforced, so everybody is scared of breaking the law.
All right, Mr. Yunusa, the Niger Delta region is a region blessed with large water bodies, including arable land for planting. How can we harness, what are those peculiar, stable food known to the Niger Delta region, and how can we harness it to ensure that there is sustainable development in the region?
See, Niger Delta, forget the fact that it's a waterlogged area. All we need to do is to bring in innovation, creativity, right? And infrastructure into farming. There are people who don't even have land, but yet they are feeding themselves. How many people have we brought who are experts in agricultural technology? Today we are talking about smart agriculture. Before now, when cattle destroyed my farmland, I stopped going to the farm, but right now I do my farming in my sack at home. And no longer go to the farm because farmer, what is their name? Cattle will destroy them. So I had abandoned it, start thinking inward, what can I do? So the same thing it is. Let's allow the expert who studied it to come and teach us. If we don't have, let's meet up with the Israelis. Let's talk with the guys in Cuba. They don't have anything, but yet they are okay. So why are we not bringing in technology? Why should we continue to live the old age in this modern age and time? Rice will grow, rice will do well in the riverine area. Other crops will do well. Even cashew will do well. If you don't benefit from the fruit, you will benefit from carbon credits because cashew has the capacity to trap the carbon. And that is why cashew can grow everywhere. It protects the environment. The farmer will make will make money from carbon credits and so on and so forth. Cassava, of course, not everywhere that is even waterlogged in the first place. So can we bring technology? I see my friends do a lot of farming on top of their zinc. They produce all of things for themselves to eat. Let's assume the soil is destroyed. What else should we do? Can't we look inward and bring in technology and innovations?
All right, Mr.
We should
Yunusa
drop
Gabriel.
excuses and let's face it as it is. Thank you.
You spoke well, especially when you mentioned innovation, and that reminded me of a concept, the GMO, genetically modified organisms, and what role it plays in ensuring food sufficiency in the region and in the nation at large. Do you think that this is the way to go, as controversial as that subject matter is? Some persons believe that it is going to be the wrong path to toe. Others believe that it is actually quite innovative to look into and see how the region can benefit from it. What is your perspective on GMO and how effective it can be in solving the food security crisis that the region is grappling with and the nation at large?
As far as I'm concerned, GMO is no for me. GMO is no-go area. Genetic modified plants. Today, as I speak with you, most of our pepper no longer hurts in the mouth because of genetic modified pepper, right? The same thing tomato. It grows 1 year, the next year you don't see it. So they discourage you to do away with your own old traditional pepper for their own. It's still the colonization. And we must stop it. Why do we have our research institute, for God's sake? Why? Is it like I said, GMO, we should never allow it, please, because it's going to kill our own natural seed for their own, and then we will be forced to be depending on them. We should never allow it. Our national should never allow such. Our research institute should never allow such. I'll give you an example. They brought a cashew seedling, they call it polyclonal, and they said we should come and collect it. And I asked, who certified it in Nigeria? Where is your demonstration farm? How many years did it take to grow? How many years did it take to fruit? How much is, how many kg is it per hectare? No answer was given me. And I said, you see, now, where is this polyclonal coming from? You don't know. What if you bring it and it kills your own that you have? The same thing, this is what we have been doing to other crops. So please, I beg everyone, we should discourage it. We must not allow GMO. If we must research, let our research institute also go into research of our own traditional seed so that they can expand in it. What is research? Research is to research for development, to enhance it. So let us research, enhance it for the development of our own agricultural seedling. So anytime they talk about GMO, it's deadly. You don't know what is inside. You don't know who did it, who approves it. It's deadly. They are weaponizing our seed using agriculture. We must discourage it totally. Yes, I know that some persons have been, collecting money to allow it into the country. But the beautiful thing, even if they bring it into this country, they too are at risk because it's going to affect them too. So what goes around comes around. But as for me and our members, I have been preaching this. I've told them, never you allow, if you don't know the source, if it is not approved by Queen or other research institute, please don't accept it. Don't accept it. GMO is deadly. Even them that are producing it are not using it.
Mr.
So we must
Yunusa,
discourage it totally.
I'd like to just chip in one last question before we let you go. The issue of insecurity and its attendant effects. Now you would see situations where farmers would have to negotiate with armed groups, vigilantes, towards being able to access their farms. And if you begin to farm out of fear or wondering what the next minute holds for you while you are doing your work in your farm, that is not going to lead to food sufficiency and food security in the Niger Delta region and nationally. Speak to the issue of insecurity and how this affects food security in the region.
First of all, insecurity is a problem. While we were growing up in the 70s, 80s, we never saw all of this. And probably because we were in the military era. As soon as anything like that raises its ugly, is named to the board. But today, over 10, 12, 15 years, we are still talking about insecurity. How can we have food sufficiency? It is not possible, sir. See, like I said, billions of billions of billions, weapons and weapons have been bought to tackle the issue. Sir, I am scared of going to the farm. The last time I went to apply for gun, they refused me. But yes, some people are allowed to carry gun moving around. This is wrong. So you have cutlass, the man is having a gun. How can you compete with him? Definitely no. But if you have a gun,
All right.
gentlemen, our security architecture has failed us. That is the truth, and nothing more.
So you're recommending
and that is why you see
security
food
for us
continues
to
to
be able
rise.
to have what we are hoping for, right? Your recommendations in just 10 seconds, please.
Defend ourselves. Our recommendation is that let's defend ourselves. If the government and the security, whom we are paying with our taxpayers' money, whom we are paying cannot defend us, then they should make it, free for us to also carry gun to defend ourselves. Women can go to the front, men can go to the front because we are helpless.
Well, that conversation is a path that the government has repeatedly said it was not ready to toe. And we will simply continue to call for the necessary measures to be taken towards ensuring security in our different farmlands in the region and nationally as a whole. Thank you very much, National President, Cashew Farmers, Processors and Marketing Cooperative Limited, Mr. Yunusa Gabriel Enemali, for speaking with us on food security in the Niger Delta region. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Yunusa.
Thank you.